Welcome, curious minds, to the deep dive. You know that feeling when you think you know a place, maybe you've seen the big landmarks, but then you dig a little deeper, and suddenly there's this whole hidden world.
Exactly.
Well, today, that's what we're doing. We're jumping into Konohana Ward in Osaka. Now, most people probably think of, the huge theme park there.
Universal Studios Japan.
Right. But we've found it's actually packed with fascinating history, really quirky spots, just stuff waiting to be discovered.
Yeah, absolutely. Our mission today in this deep dive is really to unpack those surprising layers of Konohana. We want to trace its history, how it evolved, and maybe uncover some unique gems for you, experiences that show a completely different side of Osaka.
And where are we getting this info?
It's a real mix. We've got regional guides, some local government insights, and honestly some really cool historical stories, anecdotes that almost suggest ways you could, experience the place yourself.
Okay, let's get into it then. We're starting way back, right? With the name Konohana itself. It sounds nice, but apparently it tells a story about what the place used to be like. Ancient marshes.
That's right. And it's fascinating how tied to nature the area's identity is, even now. Way back, like Nara period, centuries ago, this whole area was known as Shobunuma.
Shobunuma.
Yeah, which means iris marsh. So you have to picture these vast fields just full of purple irises, a totally different scene from the bustling ward today.
Wow. And the name Konohana, that's not recent then?
Not at all. It actually comes directly from an ancient poem. There was this figure, Wani, and his poem is in the Manyoshu. That's one of Japan's oldest, most important poetry collections.
Okay.
And the poem specifically talks about irises blooming in that marsh. So the name Konohana, it's like a direct link, an echo of that ancient poetry, connecting nature and art right in a place that later became super industrial.
That's a really beautiful connection. It shows how history sticks around, doesn't it?
It really does. And it makes you think about different ways to experience the place. Like, imagine if they recreated an ancient iris festival there, maybe in June.
What would that be like?
Well, you could maybe wear Heian era clothes, that elegant old court style, maybe try some waka singing, the classic poetry, or even do traditional flower picking, like stepping back in time.
That sounds amazing. Very different from the usual tourist trail.
Yeah.
And our sources mentioned something specific too, didn't they? A kind of hunt.
Yeah, they did. Seeking out a Manyoshu poetry still, like a stone monument with the poem that's supposedly hidden somewhere in the area.
Oh, I love that. It turns just walking around into a bit of an adventure, a treasure hunt for history buffs.
Definitely an off-the-beaten-path kind of thing.
Okay, so from irises and ancient poems, the area really shifted gears. It became this industrial hub, right? Salt, ships, even ghost trains.
Oh, yeah. Big shift. In the Edo period, Konohana was huge for salt production. Salt was like gold back then, incredibly important.
How did they even make it there?
Well, workers used these special tools, salt scoops. They basically keep sprinkling seawater over large fields, letting the sun do the work, evaporating the water, leaving the salt crystals behind.
And this wasn't just any salt, apparently.
No, this Nada salt was seriously prized. There's even a local legend, probably just a story, but still fun, that Toyotomi Hideyoshi's personal chef used to sneak over to get this specific salt for his dishes.
Huh. That's brilliant. Talk about a taste of history, and for visitors today.
Well, you could imagine, maybe, a kind of Konohana Ward historical museum where you could actually try the old salt-making methods.
Oh, hands-on.
Yeah, and maybe even take home a little bit you made yourself. That's a really direct connection to the past.
And are there any remnants of that era you can still find?
Our research pointed towards an old shop supposedly called Shioya that might still sell pickled plums, umeboshi made with a traditional Edo-era recipe using that local salt heritage. Finding little places like that, that's the real exploration.
Little hidden gems. But the industrial past has its darker, maybe spookier side too. The ghost station.
Ah, yes, the story of Shiotomachi Station. Very intriguing. It was on the Hankai Tramway's Sakurajima line, opened back in 1895. Its main job was serving the salt fields.
So when the salt fields closed.
Exactly. The station became less important, kind of fell into disuse. But then these urban legends started cropping up. Train drivers, especially at night, reported seeing figures.
Figures? Like what?
Like salt workers in straw capes, just lingering near the tracks, sometimes in fog. Apparently it was vivid enough that drivers sometimes slammed on the brakes thinking someone was there.
Well, that's genuinely creepy. Real local folklore.
It really shows how places, even abandoned ones, sort of live on in stories, doesn't it? Blending history and maybe a bit of fear or imagination. The station was officially closed in 1944.
So, for the brave visitor.
Well, the sources suggested something like a Konohana Ward ghost story night walk, following the old track routes.
With lanterns.
Yeah, maybe vintage lanterns, local guides telling these eerie tales.
Yeah.
Definitely a unique night out.
Or maybe something a bit less intense.
For sure. There was a suggestion for a cafe, maybe called the Old Station House in Sakurajima, that could have old photos, maybe blueprints or passenger diaries from the tramway era displayed. Those little details really make history feel closer.
Makes sense. And beyond salt and ghosts, Konohana was also about logistics, right? Moving goods.
Absolutely crucial. Big ships coming into Osaka Bay couldn't get all the way into the city center through the rivers. So Konohana was the key transfer point. Goods were unloaded onto smaller boats there, a real hive of activity.
And that legacy continues today, in a way.
It does. Konohana is still really well connected by public transport. Nishikujo Station is a major interchange linking different train and subway lines, so it's kept that role as a transport hub.
And are there places that still feel a bit old school?
Definitely. The shopping streets around Chidoribashi Station, for example, they have this really nice kind of nostalgic retro vibe, great for just wandering and soaking up a bit of old Osaka charm.
Okay, so we've had ancient marshes, industrial boom, ghost stories.
Yeah.
Now we're moving into more modern times, right? Transformation, big dreams, maybe some that didn't quite pan out.
Exactly. And this part really highlights ambition and sometimes the impact of economic shifts. Take Umeshima, that artificial island. In the 1980s, during the bubble economy, there were these enormous plans.
What kind of plans?
They envisioned something called Osaka Fantasy Kingdom. It was meant to be massive, rivaling Disneyland. Think European castles, space mountains, even underwater tunnels in the designs.
Wow, that sounds incredible. What happened?
The bubble burst. The whole grand vision just evaporated with the economy. It's a real symbol of that era, how huge dreams fueled by speculation could just disappear.
So nothing got built?
Well, apparently just one Ferris wheel was constructed, and even that's gone now. A true phantom amusement park.
But you could still sort of connect with that history.
Yeah, the sources had a neat idea. A Umeshima future tour. Maybe using one of those self-driving electric vehicles. You could see the site for the 2025 expo that is happening and compare it with the old plans for the fantasy park. Past dreams meeting future reality.
That's a cool contrast.
Yeah.
Any other way to glimpse that bubble era?
There was a suggestion for a temporary exhibition, a bubble economy memory corridor, maybe showing models of the unbuilt park, perhaps even unissued tickets they'd printed. Little tangible bits of what might have been.
Fascinating. Okay, let's talk about the theme park that did get built. Universal Studios Japan. But even that has a weird story attached to its beginning.
It does. Before USJ opened in 2001, the site over in Sakurajima used to be a Hitachi shipyard warehouse. And during construction around 1998, workers supposedly dug up this sealed iron box.
Oh, okay. What was inside?
Showa-era movie props, apparently.
Yeah.
But they were kind of creepy broken dolls, things like that. And supposedly a note that just said, "Must return after use."
Oh, come on. That's instant urban legend fuel.
Totally. Straight away, stories started swirling locally. Unmanned roller coasters running at night, cartoon mascots seen moving on their own. Classic spooky stuff. Adds another layer of modern folklore to the area.
It really does capture the imagination. And someone had an idea for how USJ could even play on that.
Yeah, the sources hinted that maybe during Halloween, USJ could do a special cursed prop warehouse horror experience, actually recreating the legend for visitors.
Turning local myth into an attraction. And maybe something for history buffs, too.
Right. There was also a mention of a possible Sakurajima prop museum located outside USJ. It could display old film gear, maybe even have little puzzle games related to that unearthed box legend.
So Konohana really did transform from industry to this major international leisure destination with USJ, plus the Super Nintendo World added in 2021.
A massive change. But it's not just USJ. There's also Maishima Sports Island.
What's that?
It's another artificial island, Maishima, and it's huge. A multi-purpose leisure area. Sports fields, places for barbecues, just lots of open space.
And flowers. I think I read something about flowers.
You did. It's home to the Osaka Maishima Seaside Park, which is famous for its pneumophila flowers, a million of them. These tiny, bright blue flowers covering the fields, absolutely stunning, and maybe not what you'd expect near a former industrial zone.
Definitely not. Any good views?
Oh, yeah. There's an observation deck called Shinya Okaga with great sunset and night views, and the sources really recommend driving across the Konohana-Ohashi Bridge.
The big suspension bridge.
That's the one. It's about 1.7 kilometers long, connects parts of Konohana. The views over Osaka Bay, especially at night with all the lights, are supposed to be incredible. They called it a great spot for a romantic drive.
Nice. Okay, final section. Let's talk about water. The area is defined by it, right? Rivers, the bay. What are some unique ways to experience that side of Konohana?
For sure. And one of the absolute gems is the Tenpozan Ferry. Get this, it's one of only 7 free public ferries still operating in Osaka.
Free? Seriously?
Oh.
A boat ride for free?
Yep. It's just a short, 3-minute hop across the water between Sakurajima near USJ and Tenpozan, where the big Osaka Aquarium Kaiyukan is. Locals use it all the time, but for visitors, it's this charming little free mini cruise.
That's amazing. I'm definitely doing that. What else connects to the water? There's a shrine?
Mm-hmm. The Miyasukushi Sumiyoshi Shrine. It's historically really significant, founded way back in 804 AD.
Wow, that's old. Why was it built?
Originally, it was to pray for the safe return of Japanese envoys who were traveling to Tang Dynasty China. So it highlights Konohana's really old role in international connections across the sea.
And there's a connection to Osaka City itself.
A direct one. The shrine used these channel markers called Musakushi to guide ships back safely, and those very markers became the symbol, the motif, for the official Osaka City emblem you see today.
No way.
Yeah. So the shrine is seen as protecting maritime safety. It really underscores how deeply connected Konohana's identity is to the sea and to travel. It tells you a lot about what was important here historically.
It really all ties together, doesn't it? And just being by the water itself must be nice.
Oh, absolutely. Konohana is nestled between the Yodogawa and Ajigawa rivers. They have these wide, expansive riverbeds, perfect for just taking a slow walk, watching the sunset over the bay. A really nice contrast to the city bustle. Good place to just breathe.
Sounds lovely.
Oh.
Anything else unexpected down by the water?
Well, maybe slightly unexpected. On Maishima, there's an indoor strawberry farm called Kaze Mao Umibe no Ichigo Batake.
Strawberry picking.
Yeah? All-you-can-eat strawberry picking indoors during the season. Another one of those surprising finds in this area that shifted from industry to leisure.
Okay, so summing this all up, this deep dive really shows Konohana as this place of, amazing contrasts.
Definitely. You've got ancient poetry literally embedded in the name right next to the history of heavy industry. You have these grand, abandoned dreams alongside hyper-modern theme parks. It really invites you to use all your senses, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, you can almost smell that sea breeze where the old salt fields were. You could taste those traditional pickled plums, or maybe, like the sources suggested, fresh Sakurajima oysters, perhaps even seasoned with salt made using old methods.
Right. And you can imagine touching the carvings on that ancient poetry stele, if you find it.
Exactly. Or hearing the wind, maybe thinking about those ghost train stories along the old tracks.
And seeing those incredible blue Nemophila flowers, or that sunset over Osaka Bay from the bridge. It really is packed with history and unique things to see and do.
Absolutely. Konohana Ward, it's not just a spot on the map near a theme park. It feels more like a living story, a mix of forgotten history, huge transformations, local legends, and all this vibrant modern life kind of layered on top. It keeps reinventing itself, but holds on to these unique roots.
It offers a completely different way to explore, if you're willing to look past the obvious.
That's it, exactly.
So, maybe the takeaway for you listening is, it's a reminder, isn't it? That even in places we think are familiar, if you just scratch the surface a little, there are these incredible layers of surprising stories, hidden gems just waiting. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? What unexpected history or curious corners might be hiding right there in your own local area?